something in the air that night, and in the way you looked at me. I get nervous when you get close and my heart fills up with butterflies. And then you leave me speechless. My world turned upside down. Just say that you won't go and break my heart. Break my heart, don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got. The one I've got. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Wanna tell you how I feel instead of keeping it all inside. So hard with you, I don't know why. Believe me, boy, I've tried. When you're near me, my heart fills up with butterflies, and then you leave me speechless. My world turned upside down. Just say that you
and she had said in the chat, give her 5 minutes.
Break my heart, don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got. The one I've got. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, people.
Good morning, James, Bubba Williams, DJ Exclusive. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. James, we've been missing that good morning, man. That good morning. Yeah. We've been needing that to set the mood, to start the day right.
Right, brother. Exactly, man. I was just like, man, I gotta say it this morning. It just I gotta say it this morning. You know,
yeah, man.
I know we got a lot of some stuff to talk about, but woof, man.
Man, it's been a hard week. It's been a hard week so far, and it gets like that as we do news and politics, as we cover the news. Sometimes the news is so much that it kind of snatches our joy. But we're gonna set the moment right this morning, man. We got a lot to cover in the news world, the political world, but we also have some other stuff that we're going to talk about. Rebecca Azor is joining us momentarily. We have a candidate for a congressional seat from New York, Isiah James. He's going to be joining us later on and be talking about. We're going to be talking about his campaign along with what's happening across the country with the police brutality. But man, sometimes we just got to reset and get the week going right. I know it's Wednesday, but I'm thinking the sun is shining and we're going to push through and have a good rest of this week. What you think, man?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Did you were scheduled to get your second shot? I haven't got my first one yet. Were you able to get your second one?
Yeah, man, I got it yesterday. And
how you feeling? Okay, so you feel a little side. Well, a lot of people told me the second shot is the one that makes you feel a little funky. Yeah,
and you know, I think I took 2 Tylenol after my shot, so I didn't really feel it, like my arm or anything. But man, like as the day went on, like later on, I'm just like, damn, like what's going on with my arm? It was like, oh yeah, I forgot I took that vaccine.
I know. Anytime I get a shot or something in my arm, like it just sits there and it grows, and it's like just like somebody hit my shoulder with a hammer. So I'm not looking forward to that side effect, but I am looking forward to obviously getting fully vaccinated. I'm thinking as soon as we get fully vaccinated, the first thing we got to do is all three of us, you, me, and Rebecca, we got to get together here in the city and one, hang out. We're going to hang out first.
Right.
And then then we'll probably do a live show together in person. But when we get there, it'll be sometime after we all get vaccinated. So I'm glad you all got squared away. I want to start with some politics, some news that you know, all things considered, I think it is a good bit of news. President Joe Biden will announce that he will withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11th, the 20th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on America. that were coordinated from that country, several U.S. officials said on Tuesday. In 2014, Barack Obama declared a formal end to the war in Afghanistan. 7 years later, and Joe Biden is finally setting an unconditional timetable for withdrawal from America's longest war in history, while Biden's decision to keep troops in Afghanistan 4 months longer than initially planned, it sets a firm end to 2 decades of war that killed more than 2,200 U.S. troops and wounded 20,000 and cost as much as $1 trillion. An administration official said Biden decided that the withdrawal deadline had to be absolute rather than based on how conditions are on the ground. He said, quote, "We're committing today to going to 0 U.S. forces by September 11th, possibly well before," the official said, adding that Biden concluded that a conditional withdrawal would be a recipe for staying in Afghanistan forever. Man, it's just thinking about the fact that it is coming up on 20 years.
Yes,
not
man.
only since 9/11, but the war in Afghanistan. I mean, we went into Afghanistan the very next month, October 2001. And man, there are people who are fighting in that war right now who weren't even born. 20-year-olds who are in the military right now who are fighting in a war that started. The fact that Joe Biden is going to get us out of there finally. I mean, we've been promised that since Obama's administration, but it's about damn time we got out of there. James, what you think, man?
Man, I can't believe, like, Ben, like, you really brought up a good point, dude. Like, it's 20-year-olds really fighting that war that y'all weren't even here yet, man.
Yeah.
That's really crazy. And just to know that it's going to be 20 years, like, dude, I remember exactly where I was to the day that I don't think I'll ever forget.
Where were you? Where were you on that day?
Man, I was actually still in Daytona. I was going to drop my application off at the housing authority to apply for public housing. And it's weird because I didn't cut the radio on that morning. You know, I love music, so I just plugged my little CD player up because we still had the portable Discmans then, and put the little headphone jack in and everything, and was on the way to drop the application off. And Ben, matter of fact, it was Jeremy S. was the one that called and was like, man, you saw everything that's going on? I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, a plane crashed into the building, World Trade Center. I'm like, wow. Oh my gosh, man, that's crazy. So once I finally get back home, turn the TV on, that's everything. I'm just like, just shocked, floored the rest of the day.
Man, I was in a real estate class training, and because I was 20 at the time. I was 20, and I had just dropped out of college for the first time. Dropped out multiple times. Finally went back and finished, but that's not the point. The point is I had dropped out. I left Cookman. I dropped out, and I was trying to find something to do with my life, and I started doing real estate. And we were sitting in Century 21 training office, and the broker came in just crying, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And she was like, we've been attacked, and they cut the TV on, and all we saw over and over again were the towers falling. And I remember it so vividly, partly because my brother was in New York at that time. He was near the Trade Center, and he has pictures that are like unbelievable, where they had to hide under cars. They had to walk by foot across to New Jersey, and they had to stay with people. So it's like it leaves indelible images on our mind of how traumatic that day was. But to think of the fact that we are engaged in a war still to this day, 20 years ago, man, 20 years ago, there's like, it is the longest war in American history. And it is $1 trillion that we spent. And we have invested so much money into the war machine, into the quote unquote war on terror with almost no returns. I mean, really, what are the returns that we get from war in the first place? Dead bodies. Let's just be real about it, right? You know, we don't have the David, if you don't mind, searching for how many people in Afghanistan, how many Afghanis were killed, right? We say 2,200 Americans, 20,000, but I know the war on terror in Iraq cost 500,000 Iraqi lives, right? And how many people from Afghanistan were killed as a result of this war that's still going on to this day. We have in this country, we have this unbelievable capacity to just go to war and sustain war and do it for generations nonstop. I mean, can we think of a period in American history where we weren't at war? And part of that is like, you know, yeah, we were attacked on September 11th, but then there's a huge part of the reason why we're still there 20 years later is because there was $1 trillion on the table. And there are plenty of organizations out there. There's plenty of defense contractors out there that were more than happy to make sure that we never left Afghanistan because that meant money for them every single quarter, unbelievable profits. And when we say $1 trillion, I want us to put it in perspective also. That's not money that went into thin air. In fact, that's not money that overwhelmingly went to the troops. That's money that went to really extremely wealthy defense contractors and warmongers, people who make a living off of war. Excuse me. So the fact that that's coming to an end, it really should have came to an end a long time ago. And the war in Iraq should never have started in the first place. But we'll see. Let's see if Joe Biden actually keeps his promise here. He set a hard deadline, and so let's see if he sticks with it. Another piece of news on President Biden. He is on track to accept the fewest number of refugees this year of any modern president, including Trump, according to a report released Friday from the International Rescue Committee, a nonprofit humanitarian aid group. Since the beginning of his campaign, Biden has tried to cast himself as completely opposed to President Donald Trump when it comes to welcoming refugees in the United States. Despite signing executive orders to rebuild settlement programs and revoking Trump-era policies that ban many refugees, President Biden has yet to sign a, quote, presidential determination. This means Trump's old policies and the 15,000 person camp on refugee settlement that he put into place will remain. Normally, the signing of a presidential determination takes place nearly immediately after policies like Biden's executive orders are announced, but it's been 8 weeks and there has been so far no such signing. The International Rescue Committee says that the reason for the delay is unclear and very unusual. The timing is also very poor when the multitude of refugee crises taking into account coming at the border. President Biden's 2022 discretionary budget does include requests for increases in funding to support his executive actions, but this does little to help those refugees currently in limbo who cannot wait. Quote, as a result, tens of thousands of already cleared refugees remain barred from resettlement, and over 700 resettlement flights have been canceled, leaving vulnerable refugees in uncertain limbo, according to the report. So this is the flip side. It's a good thing that we're getting out of Afghanistan, and I do believe we're going to be able to hold him to it. He's going to hold himself to it. But what's going on with the refugees? What's going on with our inability to make a complete about face from what happened during the Trump administration? Because to be quite frank with you, if we said it was bad in the Trump administration, we are morally obligated to call it out and say that it is bad underneath the Biden administration, no matter what color his political party is. If we oppose the treatment of refugees and immigrants in this country underneath Donald Trump, and those policies have not changed, then we need to oppose it underneath Joe Biden. And if it's something as principled as him needing to go ahead and sign this piece, this determination, this presidential determination, if it's something as simple as that, then the real question is why have they not done it? And what are the politics around it? Who are the influencers around it? Who are the lobbyists around it? Who are the politicians who are in his ear right now telling him to keep this the same way that was happening as it was happening underneath Donald Trump? That's the real question that we have to get to. And that's the question that we need to answer to, because we are not going to celebrate Joe Biden simply because he's not Donald Trump if he's continuing the same policies as Donald Trump, particularly as it pertains to refugees. That said, James, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Rebecca Azor, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about what's happening in Minneapolis, in Brooklyn Center, with the shooting death of Dante Wright. More likely than not, right after this.
Good morning again, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's Like It or Not, y'all. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram, Facebook at Like It or Not Show. Instagram and Facebook at Like It or Not Show, y'all. Let's get into some of this good music. Shout out to everybody this morning. Nick, Nat A, Nat M, good morning, y'all. Chuck Diesel, what's going on, brother? Good morning. Justice, good morning, good morning. I hope you're staying safe out there, sir. Please be safe. Savage Sweetheart, good morning. Purple Rain Hearts. It's Truth Avery. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know I do that. It get a 9. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, my mama. Good morning. I love you. Sensation, good morning. Alicia, David, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Mama Bina. Black Dragon, Brenda Johnson, good morning, y'all. Rebecca, good morning. Martha Benton, good morning. Good luck on your second dose. Don't worry, it's not bad at all. You just gonna feel a little drowsiness and that's it mostly. Wow, I have the Rebecca squad in here. Rebecca Floyd, good morning. And Rebecca Burns, okay. Avery, I appreciate that.
My loyalty, I let you in back then because I couldn't.
Yeah, kill my guy, appreciate it.
You ain't never been true to me. My intuition ain't never lied. I had to leave. Handle your business. Do what you think you need to do to get your revenge. But you won't break me, God, as my witness. Past the point of no return, I'm on a mission.
Latif, good morning, brother. Good morning.
But no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah.
Nicholas Rodriguez, get it in, man, get it in. Mark S, good morning.
Baby, what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true. True. Tell them I need my money right now. Brought me the juice, they stole out my crown.
Yeah, the Rebecca has her own squad. It's a few Rebeccas in the house.
I'm gonna be cool, yeah. Don't waste my.
You don't mean nothing to me. E-boys like you every dinner. I don't believe what you
Nick,
preach.
I see you.
Hang out with boys on the street. Like that will make you a winner. I don't believe what I see. Why you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware.
Melon Dennis, good morning, good morning. Yeah, make sure that y'all hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button, comment, and subscribe so you know when Like It or Not is going down. And don't forget to share it as well, too, y'all.
Why you calling me honey? Why you show off your money? Wave it like it's a tissue. Baby, this is your issue.
Michael 147, I appreciate that. Thank you. Chuck Diesel, don't you break nothing in the house, Chuck.
You and me ain't right. Gold. You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold.
My arm is sore as hell.
Walk up, everything belongs to you. I don't mean like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your gold. You're nothing more than silverware. I'm over you, so done with you.
Rebecca Azor's in the house.
I'm here. I am here. Hey.
What's your shirts? Malcolm, Harriet, Langston. Who's at the bottom?
Malcolm, Harriet, Langston, Maya, and Frederick.
All right.
Frederick.
Dope show.
And I got this from the White People's Target.
They sold that.
It was
They're selling that at Target.
Listen to this story about this particular shirt. Okay?
And why gotta be? Why is yeah, I guess the white side of the white side of the town.
Because when I go to the black side of town, they don't even sell this type of stuff.
They do have totally different merchandise.
Yeah. So at the white side of town, it literally was collecting dust. Okay. It was collecting dust. And I'm like, is this real? Like, is this some kind of joke? And it was 50% off. So, I mean, and it was actually during the protests of last year. So
wait, so somebody thought it was a good idea to order that and send it to a predominantly white side of a city in Georgia. Okay, that's
I don't know why.
That's pretty bold.
A very racist city. And when you look, I also got a few more graphic t-shirts that you guys will see me wear throughout. I love graphic tees, by the way, but like of black artists that just sit there and collect dust.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, okay. It's a dope shirt.
Thank you.
Shirt. James, I heard you talking about were you remixing the song saying your arm is sore? We heard
so a lot of people were worried about your second shot. Your arm is sore from the shot?
Yeah, arm is sore, and I'm like, I'm tired of shit. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Just like, oh gosh, it took everything to get up this morning. And I started feeling it last night. And then my throat is hurting a little bit. It feels like it wants to hurt, but it's like, ain't gonna, no, but
like a little, a subtle, a hint.
Yeah, a subtle hint, like, hi, Corona. No, okay, cool.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's got like, okay, I see what you're saying. It's like the vaccine made it say Corona. Nope, Corona. Okay, all right.
Corona.
Corona.
Gotcha.
Good. Well, it is a much better day today. But we still are covering the same difficult news, and we still need to give the people an update what's going on in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Rebecca, what you got going on over there?
So on Tuesday, both Police Chief Tim Gannon and Officer Kim Potter quit the Brooklyn Center Police Department after the death of Dante Wright and the subsequent 2 nights of protest. So here's Officer Kim Potter's resignation letter. And she's the one who killed Dante Wright. She said, quote, I am tendering my resignation from the Brooklyn Center Police Department effective immediately. I have loved every minute of being a police officer and serving this community to the best of my ability, but I believe it is in the best interest of the community, the department, and my fellow officers if I resign immediately, end quote. Speaking to reporters, Brooklyn Center Mayor Mike Elliott announced that he has appointed 19-year veteran Tony Grewing to take over the chief for Chief Gannon, and that he appreciates the officers stepping down, referring to the officer that murdered Wright, Kim Potter. Kim Potter, she's a 26-year veteran of the Brooklyn Center Police Department, has been a police officer in Minnesota since 1995. In 2020, she was one of the first officers to arrive on the scene after 2 police officers killed Kobe Edgar Dimmick Heisler. An investigative report from the Hennepin County Attorney's Office stated that she told 2 officers involved in the shooting to exit the residence, get into separate squad cars, turn off their body cameras, and not talk to each other. Speaking at a rally, Dante Wright's aunt told the assembled crowd that George Floyd's girlfriend was Dante's former teacher. Let's take a look.
And the craziest thing is to find out today that my family has connections to this man, to this family. His girlfriend was a teacher for my nephew.
My Lord.
Yes, that's true. My nephew was a lovable young man.
So Vice President Kamala Harris also spoke on this today, saying that Dante Wright should be alive today. Let's take a listen.
All right, so we don't have no audio on that, but
as we get the audio together for that. Greg Popovich was the coach of San Antonio Spurs, also spoke out about this incident and what's happening around the country. So here's what he had to say.
Just makes you sick to your stomach. You know, it's how many times does it have to happen? And you know, as sick to our stomachs as we might feel, you know, that individual's dead. He's dead. And his family is grieving, and his friends are grieving. And we just keep moving on as if nothing's happening. You know, I've said it before, I think we're already in the process of being Rome. It's over. Unless we find some leadership and some common sense and some fiber and some people that can steer us in the right direction. It's all connected. It's the same, you know, feeling we have with guns and the massacres. You know, when we see what's happening with policing and young black men, middle-aged black, doesn't matter, black men, and some other people of color, and with the massacres of our children, it's the same thing. It goes on, and everybody says, well, when's it going to be enough? You know, of course I don't have those answers, but the people who continually fight to maintain that status quo are not good people. You hear it all the time. I've mentioned our governor in Texas, Governor Abbott. It's deplorable. It's almost impossible to listen to this man speak. You know, the other day when guns came up, he actually made the statement again, the old trite myth argument. They're coming for your guns. That's going to be the next step. They're going to take away your guns. Nobody's taking away anybody's guns, and he knows it. So he's a liar.
Yeah, it's something when sports has to involve themselves into what's going on and speak about what's going on because our leaders aren't doing such a good job about that. But wanted to circle back to Vice President Kamala Harris, who spoke actually yesterday, excuse me, saying that Daunte Wright should be alive today. Let's take a listen.
Before we get started, I do want to address the killing of Daunte Wright. He should be alive today. And to his family and loved ones, you must know that the president and I grieve with you as the nation grieves his loss, and we stand with you. Our nation needs justice and healing, and law enforcement must be held to the highest standards of accountability. At the same time, we know that folks will keep dying if we don't fully address racial injustice and inequities in our country, from implicit bias to broken systems.
Actually speak on this, to be honest. I know I've been saying that she's been missing for a few other issues that have happened, but it was actually good to hear it coming from her. But
she could not speak on this.
She could not speak on this, but we had another death right before this, and we didn't really hear from her. So
Not at this time.
yeah, and especially
y'all have the power to do something.
Yeah, and especially with her having a background in legal, and it may not be the best background, but this is actually a place where you can show, you know, where you stand on this side of things, especially in this place of leadership that you're in now. It you know, coming from Joe Biden that we did see yesterday, it was more so let's give them, you know, the due process. No, here we have to talk about a broken system because they will keep killing us if we don't fix the system that was created to kill us. And talking about the system that was created to kill us, they, you know, there's protests out there, and what do? They send out tankers. So let's check in on the protests happening at the Brooklyn Center, where Daunte Wright was killed. The National Guard is now reinforcing the police presence against protesters, including shooting from these tanks. So be advised, you guys, this may be a trigger warning. That's a protest, but it looks like a war zone. It looks like a war zone. Nothing that we've seen at the Capitol looked anything like that. Nothing that we've seen at the Capitol looked anything like that. That looks like people who are headed to kill a community, like the Black folks who are protesting or the people who are protesting out there. It looks like they're going to go, like, we're going to start war, right? That's how they're treating these people. They're treating them like the way that how they drop random bombs in the middle of Syria or, in these other places. They care. These are tanks, you guys.
In
tanks.
The streets of our cities.
And did you see the other picture under there? I think it was under this video, like the protesters on the other sides with their umbrellas out, like just a bunch of them, like trying to protect themselves.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So a couple things here. What we're seeing on the screen right now, I want us to juxtapose it. Bring it back up for me, Tunde, because the New York Times just reported yesterday. Actually, no, it was this morning. They reported that the Capitol Police were told not to use their most aggressive tactics ahead of the January 6th, they say, riot, terrorist event, despite warnings of violence in which Congress itself was the target. So the Capitol Police, in response to a threat to the Capitol, to Congress itself, were instructed not to use their most aggressive tactics. What we're seeing on the screen right now are those type of aggressive tactics being used on people who are protesting on behalf of Black lives. I've been saying it every day this week. I'm going to say it again. America has chosen white supremacy because America was born on white supremacy, and they're choosing to protect white supremacy even when it is threatening the Capitol itself, the very institutions of power. They say, stand down and let those white supremacists march up the steps, break into the buildings, steal computers, kill officers, stand down. But if you dare protest on behalf of Black lives, this is the type of response that you're going to get.
You definitely will. And you may leave toothless. You may leave having to go to the hospital. You may not even get up. You may possibly die because you are telling them to stop killing your family, your friends, your brother, your father, your sister, your cousin, like people that we don't even know we're fighting for because we don't know when it could come circling around our block. Look at the ties, you guys. Look at the ties between the people who are being gunned down or who are being abused by officers. You have Daunte Wright, whose teacher was the girlfriend of George Floyd, right? And then you have recently, I just dropped in the chat, the Army lieutenant officer who was getting harassed by that police officer. Actually, Eric Garner was like a uncle to him.
Wow.
An uncle to him. Wow. And then, it makes me go back and think about, how Fred Hampton's mother watched, was it Emmett Till? Or
it was babysat Emmett Till. That's exactly right.
So it's like you never know when it's gonna come around your door. It's this the connection that constantly happens, but it shows us it's never ending. This thing is never ending, and it has transcended generations. This same exact thing.
Yeah.
So and it's too close to home. You guys think you're picking up just a random Black person, but it's like, yo, the person that you killed months ago, a year ago, last week, is somebody close to me, So
that the fact that was his George Floyd's former girlfriend was Daunte Wright's teacher. It's just it's unbearable because of it's like 1 degree of separation. It reflects across the country, right? It shows us how it is across the country and how close this stuff hits close to home. But it also just shows you that in that city, it's not just Minneapolis. I know it's across the country, but in that city, police killings are so rampant that you're going to get 2 people that are in the same exact circle killed within 1 year. Within 1 year. And, President Obama said something that really kind of ticked me off. He said that as a result of the death of Daunte Wright, we need to reimagine the police. Absolutely hell no. We need to abolish the police. And if you want to compromise, defund the police. Defunding the police. That's reimagine like what we need to sit down and just
that sounds like some Disney stuff. Like it sounds like some magical whatever because it sounds better. Reimagine, right? Reimagine
the remix.
Reimagine is actually something that is more appealing to the masses. And when the masses, it's the people. The white people are uncomfortable when you say abolish the police, or the people who are super conservative, that being black or white, and you say abolish the police, you sound like you're being too radical. And former President Obama cannot be too radical. He still walks in that light of, okay, I'm black, so I can't say too much, sir. It's time for you to start. It's 2021. We out of that. It ain't 2008 no more. Baby, like you can shake it off. It's okay. Like shake it off. I know you in the house and you mad too. You mad too. I
don't know if he's mad.
He still got black daughters. I mean, at the end of the day,
But check me out. What did he do last year?
Because of Michelle. I think he's trying to chill because of Michelle dropping her books and doing her stuff. So I think Barack don't want to come out like overblowing nothing to do nothing to mess up her money. Because
they got plenty of money. They got plenty of money. They ain't got to no.
So what's
then just shut up. Then just shut up, Obama. If you're not gonna come out here. Well, I mean, she's a Fed too. She's a cop. She this is her wheelhouse, right? But I'm talking about Obama specifically.
Yeah.
Obama specifically, man, if you're not gonna come out here and help, then just shut up. Right? All due respect to all the black folks in this country who love Barack Obama. Hell, my mother she ain't got a picture of him on the wall, but she loves Obama. She hate when I talk about him. My in-laws, they got pictures of Obama in the house. All due respect to Obama, bruh. If you ain't gonna help and be helpful, be quiet. Because look what he did last year when during the NBA. The NBA was getting ready and they had boycotted like one game. They struck a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he called them and told them to stand down from that strike. That's not helpful. That's hurt.
I remember that.
That's damaging. That is damaging to everything that we want to count. And now he's talking about reimagine the police. What is this? Kirk Franklin? Imagine me. Imagine the police not killing me.
You're now watching Reimagine the Police. Like that's what it's giving me.
Come on, man. Keep that to yourself, man. We got some real stuff going on here. Y'all. And you getting your money, you doing your thing behind the scene. But bro, like if you're not gonna help, then just be quiet. That's my take.
Really,
on that.
I mean, no, I agree. Yeah. I definitely get it. Yeah, I can't even fight with you on that. And I think right now, Kamala should look at that and be like, that's not what and no offense, because I know Obama it was a thing back in 2008. You had to speak a certain kind of way. We were still walking in that.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's different. So Kamala, and the reason why I'm not saying Joe Biden is because what he said yesterday lets me know that he will never understand. He will never understand.
Never.
And even though I know that, to me, Vice President Kamala Harris has walked in a lot of white supremacy in walking in those circles, having to be a certain kind of way. I get that. But now you are in one of the highest positions in the country. Like I want to hear what you got to say because you missed the mark on the last one. And it's probably going to be another one. So yes, talk about the
gag. Here's the gag. There's two things. One, you look at the mayors of these cities and they could be black, they could be Democratic, but they're going to call out the police to do exactly the same thing to those protesters that a white Republican would do. You know why? Because they have to protect the system. we've seen that happen all across the country. Minneapolis was a white Democratic mayor, but those troops, those police officers came out anyway, right? Brooklyn Center, I know they turned it over to the National Guard, but that's a black mayor. And he's saying all the things to be, he's trying to look like he's efficient. He's trying to look like he's empathetic. But you know what? That's his city. And this is going on in his city. And he has control over that, right? The gag is no matter what color you are, no matter what party you are assigned to protect the system. Now, here's the insult. Here's the insult. They didn't protect the system on January 6th. They stood down on January 6th, right? And so to me, it says they don't really care about the system so much as protecting the system from black people. That's what they're really about. Protecting the system from black people. But if white folks, white supremacists get out there and they want to burn this country to the ground, they're given orders to stand down. Black folks show up to protest the murder of a black man. White folks show up to protest the murder of a black man, and they will pull out all stops to crush it. So that's why I don't have a lot of empathy for people in power, because their number one job is to protect the system from us. And I don't care if they black, white, other. I don't care what their race is. We've seen that they protect the system from us when they won't even protect the system from white supremacists who are trying to destroy this democracy. So anyway, sorry, didn't mean to go on too much of a rant there, but at the same time, it's like the proof is in the pudding. Like we're looking at it. Matter of fact, one more time, Tunde, run that B-roll so we can see how they respond to people protesting on behalf of Black lives. Like we saw it last summer. Go ahead.
And mind you, these were the same people that they were going to deploy during the George Floyd case now, right? During the protest for that, because they were waiting to see how it was going to turn out. They had these same folks on hold, so they had to do an early deployment for these people.
Right.
So like think about that, guys.
And here's the last thing. Let me tell you something. These troops that are out there, I'm gonna call them troops because they think they fancy themselves as being troops.
Oh yeah.
These troops, they are more than happy to execute this draconian, this attack on the people.
Look at how that man ran up. Like this
He's
was
excited.
for his country.
Like he playing
This
Call
is
of Duty.
for my country.
He playing Call of Duty,
Like
man.
he playing Call of Duty. That's all this is to them.
Listen, and matter of fact, turn the audio up on this, because all I hear in the background of them saying, "Hold the line, hold the line, hold the line."
No, they are treating it like a game.
This is not Afghanistan. Like,
Cussing people out. That's how I feel like this is a game and running away. It's fun.
yes.
All right, kill the audio. Kill the audio. Hold the line against what? People who are just trying to tell you to stop killing us.
But
You
y'all
didn't
have a
hold the line
whole
on
concrete
January
barrier.
6th. A whole concrete barrier. You did not hold the line for this democracy, for America. See, y'all,
Oh, they hold
America
the line
going to
for
jail.
America right here. You think they running up to these gates and acting like they're not fighting for their lives? They're literally, this is a game to them though. This is a fantasy. This is like you
Yes.
said, they literally
Yes.
are playing a role. And once they were called to do this, they took the call and they were honored to take the call. Running up to this fence right here and shooting, it excited them. And then running back like, yes, this is what I was meant to do. Not understanding it. Ain't it? You're killing folks, or you're potentially injuring folks with life. Some of these people have lifelong injuries from the last protest, haven't even healed from that, and they pulling up on here just to potentially be hurt again. And I am very frustrated when I see stuff like this. And yes, it's triggering to me. However, it is when I do see this, because this is what they won't show you on mainstream media. They'll show you like the reporters running away from the scene, the reporters getting cussed out by protesters. They'll show you that kind of stuff.
Right.
But they ain't gonna show you what these murderers in the making, these trained to murder Black people.
Yeah, they are more than excited to be out there to hold the line for white supremacy. They are holding the line for white supremacy. That's what they're doing. Listen, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be joined by Isiah James, and we're gonna discuss this along with a couple of other things. James, get us some music, get us out of here, man, before we hold the line against these white supremacists. More likely than not. After this.
Right.
I walk through the fire in the
Saltine supremacy.
A lot of demons out here trying to
Saltine supremacy.
Some races are unworthy. So I tell them cut it out like
That's funny. I'm gonna use that.
My foot on the pedal. I will have a statue erected and me stabbing a sword through the neck of the devil.
Shout out to everybody that's checking this out, y'all. Y'all make sure that y'all hit that like button, y'all. Comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff so you know when liking or not is going down, y'all.
I'm a wonder where the words take a pick. This is a chance you may never get again. It was no accident. It was no mistake.
And as soon as this song, y'all, we're gonna get that Patron read, y'all.
This was no mistake. This was no accident. As a prince, I was passionate. Life was an action flick, and now my castle extravagant.
One Lost Spirit, yep. You asked for it early this week, and I didn't get a chance to play it, brother. That's for you, bro.
You see this crown?
Esther, good morning, Esther. How you doing? Salty supremacy. See, y'all just started something new.
All my dreams are coming real. I'm just like a frozen sun. This fire might give you chills. I think I'm the I know I'm the chosen one. Just like James Bond with the golden gun. All of my concubines know what's up. They think I'm amazing. They think that I saved them. And when I lay it down, they all get elated. And they never late, so there's never no babies. But when I make them, people gon' praise them. I want a little prince and a princess. The boy gonna be king next. Anybody trying to stop him, they can get their chin checked.
All right, y'all. We're coming up on Patron time, y'all. We got a few new patrons that we need to get out today.
I was born to be great, born to spit flame, born to acquire the fortune and fame. This was no mistake. This was no accident.
Right church, wrong pew, yeah. I'm struggling. This microphone arm. It's like, oh, God. Oh.
They calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about.
Mayonnaise management, y'all. Jesus Christ. I don't not like y'all.
Yeah, they call me king. Yeah, they calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about.
Lavelle M, good morning, good morning. All right, y'all. It's time for our new patrons. Hope y'all are ready. Because here we go. Get the beat out of the way. All right, y'all. Our new patrons. N. Steven. Rebecca B. Shay T. Welcome, Shay. Welcome. Virginia J. Adam H. Nick E. Who increased his pledge. Thank you so much, brother. And it was good having you on yesterday, sir. And matter of fact, I got something after this for y'all, all right? And for our Lion Patreon, we have Nika Perseveres. I hope I said that right, Nika, I'm sorry. Nika, don't fight me. Don't cuss me out. Please apologize. It's my apology, okay? Love you. Catherine B. Overflow. And Sophia W. And we have our new Twitch subscriber, Jay Putnam. And Jay Putnam also gifted gifted 5 Twitch subscriptions this morning as well, too. So shout out to you, Jay. We greatly appreciate you, sir. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, everybody, and our new Patreon members. And thank you, everyone that is already a member, y'all. We love you guys so much. And we thank you for your support and helping give Rebecca and I freedom. Thank you. We love you. So I gotta play a song for y'all from Brother Nick. And Nick, I hope you don't mind me playing your song again, sir. But it's a good song, Nick. I'm sorry. Once I find it in my system, I will play it. All right, y'all. Here it is, Nick Eden, and it's called Let's Chill. Sandy, thank you for your super chat. Sandy says, this is for my renting hashtag saltine supremacists for the day. Yes, indeed. That's right. Free Rebecca. Free
I'm
Rebecca.
just a
Free
man, I make
Rebecca.
mistakes, you know that I ain't perfect. I know the days have come when you don't think that it's all worth it.
Edward Green, good morning, good morning. Even though you're late, you always on time. I like it or not, sir.
Cause you're my favorite girl, my pride, my world.
Nigga, I appreciate that so much.
Just give me a chance, cause I'm a better man. And I know that though I messed up, I just need for you to see this opportunity to see where we could be. Baby, please, let's chill. Start a family, have a whole lot of screaming kids. Let's chill. Baby, you and me ain't nothing that we can't win. Let's chill. Please believe in me. Baby,
Y'all drop them lines in the chat, y'all. Drop them lines in the chat for Nick Eden, y'all. That's our proud brother.
'Cause you're my favorite girl. Now, baby, take a minute. Let me get up in your mental so I can show you places, things, and faces. It's essential for us to be the best, to take the test that lovers have to. Just let me prove my love will rise above. So may I have this dance? Just give me a chance, 'cause I'm a better man. And I know that though I messed up, I just need for you to see this opportunity to see how we could be.
Sing, boy.
Start a family,
Hey, man.
have a whole lot of
That's that Nick Eden. What y'all know about that Nick Eden? If you don't know about that Nick Eden.
I need to get that to mainstream, dude. Like,
Yeah.
That damn
Yeah.
song.
He said it charted at one point, but it was like
Right.
years
It
ago.
did.
It's still a bop though.
It's still a
No.
bop, bro. I can play that at a party now, and it will move a lot of people. I can
People
guarantee
slow
it.
dance at parties anymore?
I do.
I make them do.
I mean, I guess it depends on the party, right?
You know, I make them
Did
do.
y'all
what
What
they
kind
do.
of what kind of slow dancing? Cause
Yeah.
Did
slow
y'all see the
dancing ranges.
Did y'all see the video? Did y'all see the video on Instagram of the there were like 5 women on a yacht and they were all, you know, super sexy in their thongs and stuff, twerking to back that ass up, juvenile, right? And then they panned the camera to this one girl and they were trying to make fun of the guy dancing with her because she was a big girl. But the truth is she was slow dancing to back that ass up. And I'm sorry, I don't care what size you are. That's a crime against humanity. The one song that you do not slow dance to is Juvenile, Back That Thing Up. You slow dance to back that thing up?
She was probably drunk.
No, she wasn't
She wasn't whining the way.
No, she wasn't whining. She was just bopping side to side like it was Frankie Beverly and Maze. I'm sorry, you can't do Juvenile like you do Frankie Beverly. Unless I missed the memo. Rebecca, you slow dance to Juvenile?
You can slow dance to Juvenile. I mean, but it's like, you know, it's like a whine. Let me see. Girl, you can.
Wow. That's a crime against humanity.
Like
I'm sorry.
there, and she's whining real slow, and you holding that right there, like holding that back. And
I don't know about that.
Right.
You
Don't.
see that? Hey, look, show him, mama.
No, man. No. Y'all are not going to try to convince me that you can slow dance. I don't
only
care.
on that part. So it's
Only
the
on
intro.
that part. It's the
You're
intro.
leading into
Come
the
on.
intro. And then once that beat drop, you can't.
You got it. I'm sorry, but no.
People do
going back
ballet to those songs all the time.
Slow dancing to Juvenile back.
They
That
literally
that
find
is the
they find the down beat and just and it flows.
Rebecca is
That's
slow
what you
dancing to
did.
that microphone.
But that's just
And-
it.
A couple of times you guys were also, and I didn't say a thing. Okay.
Well, I'm doing that in honor of Dwayne because you steady calling Dwayne out when he do something.
Yeah, but you know, me and Dwayne, you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
Dwayne,
man.
he understands that he be wrong.
Try to fix it up. Fix it. That's Isiah. Anyway, shout out to Nick Eden with that cut. Let's
shout out to Dwayne.
Yeah, shout out to
Before you come
Dwayne.
back here
Dwayne.
and cut my mic off.
Right.
Oh man, that's good. I'm trying to, folks, give us a second on Isaiah James. Isaiah James for Congress. He's going to be joining us momentarily. It was a disconnect on my part, so he'll be joining us in a few minutes as soon as I can get the proper information over to him to join. That said, did you guys see the news about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being pulled? Like,
did I?
Pulled all to, and that's the one I wanted because it's a one
That's
shot.
the one a lot of people wanted because it was one shot. It
But,
seems easily accessible.
That was the one that kind of made me like pause. I ain't gonna say pause on the vaccine, but I'm just like, I don't know. I guess because I was hearing some things that it uses stem cells and a few other things, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know if I want to. Just go ahead, give me the other one. Give me the Pfizer or Moderna.
I'm pretty sure all the vaccines, like that's a pretty standard thing for stem cell research in science and in the vaccine world.
Newborns. Yeah.
But the thing was that it was causing blood clots, and it was 6 cases of severe blood clots in about 7 million people. So there was a big argument yesterday over
and
whether
they
or
range
not,
from 18 to 48.
right. And it was very specific too. It was like women between the ages of 18 and 48.
Yeah. Yep.
It was 6 women between the ages of 18 and 48 who got severe blood clotting as a result of it. And so there was a big argument online whether or not, that was overkill to pull it because, you're talking about 6 out of
a million.
6 out of 7 million. Like that's 1 in a million. Those odds are pretty good. But the doctor said that because of the type of treatment that they normally give for blood clots was not working, they felt like they needed to pull it and re-examine it. I don't know. Those are, when you consider, go ahead, Rebecca.
No, and to me, the demographic being specifically women and, ranging from a certain age, maybe people we don't know. So I think this is something that if the vaccine, particularly women can't take it, like if that's affecting women, specifically all of those women, 6 of them, I know it could be like 7 million, but we were worried about when the coronavirus came out and it was 6 people that died. We shouldn't.
Yeah. We're getting down.
Yeah, we shouldn't treat it that way. So if there is an issue, and especially if it's specific to women, we already got issues in, when it comes to medical.
Listen.
So let's definitely pull that off and see what better things that we can.
I'm all for them pulling it and doing it in a way to, to try to give more confidence, right? Because the last thing we need is for anybody. So it's a catch-22. This is what I'm thinking. It's a catch-22 because, just merely by them pulling it, it's going to make a lot of people afraid and be like, oh no, something wrong with that vaccine. Whereas like pulling it and making sure that you're taking the necessary protocols and steps to make sure that it's safe and that you understand what's going on is actually the right thing to do. It's something that I think should give more confidence than less confidence, but that's kind of not how it works in America or anywhere. As soon as they pulled it, a lot of people were like terrified of it. And then there were even more people who were like really upset because they were actually in line. There were people showing up to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And then all of a sudden they had to cancel that appointment and they had to go and, getting back in line again for Moderna or Pfizer.
And Moderna.
So,
but and it's interesting that you said that though, Ben, because the fear of the vaccine was the reason why they pulled it was because they didn't want people to fear getting the vaccine, but it's having an adverse effect now. People are like, oh, they pulled it. I'm afraid of getting the vaccine. I mean, even me, I was like, okay, now what does this mean? But just understanding that this just needs a little bit more work to be done. And I know, the research, just get it together. I know in a statement, Johnson & Johnson said, we've been working closely with medical experts and health authorities, and we strongly support the open communication of this information to healthcare professionals and the public. I mean, they had to let us know, but it's still like nothing will ever be, perfect as far as
right. There's always going to be a risk
It's always going to be a
associated with
risk. I
these
mean, we
treatments.
hear it all the time on the commercials for all these other things. But birth control itself, like you might die, like just
What
things
is it?
like that.
Abrevia? Dang, I can't remember the name, but it's like side effects include death, paralysis, vision, ultrasound, sight, smell.
The ones that get me.
Husband, wife, everything.
That's exactly. I mean, every single drug that you take has some kind of could have some kind of adverse effect. But James, the one when they were like, I literally saw one, and they said side effects include severe diarrhea, and I'm like,
A lot of them actually include diarrhea.
Like, wait a minute, bro.
Yes.
Like literally.
Severe.
I thought diarrhea was severe already. They're gonna up it a little.
Severe is when it just don't even. You got about 6-5. Just go
You got
ahead.
6 seconds. You got
bring
Your
the
ass is outside of your body. It's severe diarrhea.
Yeah, no, you can't even walk out the door. Bring the pillow into the bathroom because you may be living, sleeping, breathing here for a few days.
Oh man, they kill these side of severe diarrhea. I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good on that one. But
I just take the risk of going through whatever it is. Them side effects, I'm good.
Like, and I don't know. I can't say like what treatments these are for, whether or not the disease or the disorder is worth the risk. But they had one for psoriasis, and I don't know, maybe there's like really, really, really severe cases of psoriasis where people have to make that calculation. So I don't want to, but in my mind, I'm like, if the side effect is a potential side effect is death, I think I'm going to fight my best with this psoriasis and just kind of see it through for the rest of my life versus like death and paralysis and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I mean, I think Johnson & Johnson is making a what do they say? In an overabundance of caution is the phrase they like to use, and that's smart. Like, because to me, Rebecca, you kind of pointed out, like, if I don't want to be that one person who dies, I might be one in a million. I don't want to be that one. So if if them taking their time like this means that they can preserve somebody's life, I can't take that for granted and say, oh, well, it's 1 in a million chance. Yeah, but what if you're that one? And I think a lot of people get they like to play their luck and they like to play the odds. And I get it and I understand it, but tell that to the family of the one, right? So anyway.
Yeah, because
they did say one of them did pass away as well too.
Yes, the woman, I think it was from she passed away, the woman in
Virginia.
One woman died and a second woman in Nebraska has been hospitalized. So it's just to say, the same way we were throwing around and getting upset because when coronavirus first came around, they were comparing it to, that's not even a lot of people. That's not whatever.
Right.
We cannot move like that. We got to keep the same energy when it's talking about the vaccine for this virus. It's like, hey, 6 people died, pull that. Let's make sure we're doing right. Instead of just being so quick to be like, let's just get the vaccine, because we don't know what effects may happen in the next few months. And you know what I mean? Yeah. So if it's showing up now, pull that thing and let's figure it out.
And the one thing, like the one thing that bothers me about, and you we've said it, but I kind of want to just put a fine point on it, is that you have a lot of people who their motivation is to stop people from getting the vaccination. And they have been going to town over this Johnson & Johnson pulling the vaccine, right? Yeah. Pulling it temporarily so that they can review it. And they're using that as a justification to say, see, you shouldn't get vaccinated. The thing, it's so destructive because we're not talking about, hell no, let me fix my mouth. All vaccinations, especially some of those childhood vaccinations, are critical. We've seen an outbreak in measles, right? Right, because of these anti-vaxxers. And now they're moving that same logic or that same illogic into the COVID-19 vaccinations. And we're talking about a virus that is killing people through suffocation, right? It's killing people in ways that, so it's extremely disingenuous, but it's also extremely dangerous that they are taking, the anti-vaxxers are taking this moment where Johnson & Johnson is trying to be overwhelmingly cautious. They're taking that as a way of making people afraid of getting the vaccine. But the devil is a liar. I'm going to get my vaccine as soon as possible. Okay, so he's a damn. Well, I love that. I can't say it. Y'all seen the video of the dude who's like, the devil's a motherfucking liar. Y'all seen that guy? Anyway, we'll play it one day. All right. Well, joining us now Joining us now is none other than our brother Isiah James. He is running for Congress in the state of New York. He is a longtime supporter and returning guest to our show. Brother Isiah, thank you so much for joining us. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Just trying to get all the technical stuff worked out about this stuff. I mean,
once we can hear you, we'll be just excited as you.
I'm trying to play it off. Tunde, man, make sure we can hear him. Make sure we can hear him in our ears. I know the audience probably can hear, but I was trying to be patient. Rebecca ain't got no patience. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I mean, I can't see the screen. I can't see y'all. I can hear y'all.
Okay.
I'm looking at myself frozen on the screen right now.
Okay. You know what, man? But we see you on our screen and you're looking good, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, I wanted to bring you on one because I want your voice to be amplified even more, man. We're trying to send as many radical progressives to Congress as possible. Tell us about, and we're going to get to all the other stuff I want to talk to you about. How's the race coming for you?
It's actually coming good. We're doing a lot better than last time, in terms of name recognition, interviews, exposure and all that stuff. But I wanted to correct you on something. I'm not a radical. There's nothing radical about the things we're talking about or fighting for. We cannot use the oppressor's language to describe ourselves because when we do, we legitimize his argument. So I'm not radical. It's not radical to want health care. It's not radical for cops not to shoot people. It's not radical to stop spending money on war and to help the poor and to heal the sick. That's not radical. Those are the things we're supposed to do as fellow human beings. Jesus told us to do that. Call him a radical. And they crucified him for trying to heal the sick and to feed the poor. So no. We're not radicals. We're everyday, regular damn people who are tired of a government that serves the rich and the powerful and the 1%.
Man, he just ripped my head off my head, read me for Phil. But
that was an encyclopedia.
You absolutely right, though.
Rainbow, but he's
you
right.
You absolutely right. But all right. So how is this non-radical campaign going then?
It's going good. Listen,
No. Yeah.
Because when they use that language, to folks who are fighting for it, we know it's not radical, but it turns some people off. Like, I don't want to get involved with those radicals over there. That's crazy stuff they're talking about. But when you go up to a Republican who's deep in Trump country and you ask them, hey, do you think your child should die because they can't afford $10,000 a month cancer medications? And they're like, well, no. Well, then that's not a radical idea to think that the richest country in the world should help your baby girl or your baby boy because they live here and we have the money to do so.
That's it.
But it's going great. It's going great. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for
it's a pleasure. And truth be told, it was like we have to make sure that we get brothers and sisters and non-gender conforming individuals like you across the country into Congress. We have to, because if we don't, then everything else falls apart. Everything that we're trying to accomplish, Medicare for all, you listed it, Fight for 15, all these things that we're trying to fight for. We can't do it without people in Congress who have clear eyes about what's going on, like you. And there's a lot of special elections that are going on around the country. So let's shift gears a little bit, because you spoke out about the lieutenant in Virginia who was assaulted by those police officers, and you shared a video. We have the video, but I figured we could play it if you want. But tell us about the incident that you went through that was very similar.
Oh, yeah, it was similar. I had gotten back from war not too long before that, and I was actually, my dad at the time. The irony of the story is my dad is also a veteran. You know what I mean? He doesn't look like it. He's Rastafari. He got long dreads, all that stuff. Folks don't know my background as Jamaican American. So he's a Vietnam veteran. And at the time, he didn't have a vehicle and he was living down in Florida, and his, senior development had got bought by some corporations. So he was getting kicked out of the place he lived. So I went down there to help him, and I was actually driving him around, and every Sunday, it's like a soul food. Every Sunday, my dad would cook a big dinner, and all his kids who were around the area would come to his house and eat and laugh and joke and be jovial. So I had just finished driving my dad from the grocery store. And, if Jamaicans, they drink their Ray and nephew, they drink their rum.
Yes, they do. Red Stripe.
So we stopped at Walgreens little liquor store. to buy him 2 small bottles of gin. And I had pulled right up next to a police officer with my handicap placard and everything. Me and my dad got out and walked in. Long story short, the cop comes inside and says, "Whose car is that?" I'm like, "My car." He's like, "You got to move that car." And I was like, "For what?" I was like, "First of all, there's one person in front of me. I'm about to pay and leave, and you'll never see me again." And he's like, "You can't park there. That's for disabled handicap parking." I was like, "What are you talking about, bro?" I reached my wallet. I was like, "Here's my veteran's ID from the VA hospital. Here's my retired ID." I'm like, "I'm a disabled vet. I'm allowed to park there. My plaque is hanging in the window." He snatched it out of my hand, so I was like, "Okay, this ain't gonna go well." So I started recording him, and he started telling me I don't look like I'm disabled. And I was like, "Well, your fat ass don't look like you're a police officer. If we're going off just look." I was like, "We going strictly off looks. How the hell are you a cop with your stomach hanging over your belt?" I was like, "So if that's the metric by which I got blown up my country." They'll say you can go ahead and play it. People can see it. And yeah, I cussed his ass out. And I'll cuss anybody's ass out who try to violate my rights. I don't care who you are. You know, a lot of people say they don't care. They'll talk back to a cop. You can watch the video and see Isaiah's not playing. I will light your ass up. I don't care who you are. You are not going to violate my rights and make me less than human because you have a gun in the bag. Listen, I've been shot at by better people than you all over the world. So I ain't scared of that. That ain't so I lit his ass up. He slapped the phone out of my hand. And I was like, and then we argued for 15 minutes about handicap placards. I'm like, "What are you doing? You are the craziest damn person in the world." Long story short, nothing came of it. You know, he could put on paid suspension and all that stuff. You know what I mean? He assaulted me. They charged him for breaking my phone, but not for assault. When the mechanism he used to broke my phone was he slapped me. I mean, it's crazy. So
Isaiah, listen, like, that's interesting that you said nothing came of it. I mean, thank God that you walked away from it without him trying to pull out a gun. I mean, because some people would have looked at your video and said, "Go ahead."
If he, and I know myself, I'm a lot calmer than I was when I first got back from Iraq and Afghanistan. I had a concealed carry permit on me. My gun was in the center console of my car. You can't carry a gun into a liquor store in Florida because they make more than 50% of their income off alcohol. So you can't carry a gun into those type of places. My gun was in my car. If he had slapped me and I reached for my gun, if he reached for his, God only knows. I can tell you I'm quicker on the draw than he is. God only knows I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6 because instinct would have taken over. The Army trained 10 years to do that. You know what I mean? So instinct would have taken over, and then my life would have taken a completely different turn because all my boys who know me are like, "Man, you're so lucky that you weren't carrying." And I know I was. You know what I mean? God was looking out for me because I would have had to. I'm not going to let you kill me in front of my father. I don't want to take a human life ever again, but I damn sure rather sit in a courtroom than lay in a casket. So, you know what I mean? That's the way that turned out.
Wow. No, that's deep, but it's exactly what happened to that lieutenant. And it's crazy that keeps happening. And it's even interesting or shocking, or is it shocking? But it does shock me that we are still experiencing this to this day. So it's like to this day.
Exactly.
And what exactly what steps would you say, guys, because as you are running for Congress, what position would you take on this as a leader? And what would you say that you would put in place to stop this from happening, especially in your area?
Okay, so thank you for the question. That's a very deep question that we have to peel back like the layers of an onion. So first of all, we have never dealt with the 400-year sin in this country, which is slavery. And that racism is pervasive in every single aspect of our society. It's in banking, it's in the criminal justice system, policing, it's housing, it's in education, it's in healthcare, it's in finance, it's in college, everything. So as you can see, little Black boys and little Black girls are suspended at a higher rate. Black women business owners are denied loans at a higher rate. Black people are denied home loans at a higher rate. Black people are shot and killed and jailed by police in the criminal justice system at a higher rate. So we have to deal with the root cause. It's like when you have a root canal. They don't just clean your teeth. They dig out the infected root inside of your tooth and to fix it, to heal it. We have never dealt with the core of this problem, which is racism in this country. We try to gloss it over with different bills and different rules and different laws. And America has never made whole her Black, diaspora and generation because they just choose not to. Everybody sticks their head in the sand. So we have to deal with that root cause, because the cop that assaulted me was a Black cop, but he was taught anti-Black racism as soon as he joined the police force. You see what I'm saying? So we have to deal with that, number one. Number two, more body cams ain't gonna do nothing. The young brother, Dante, was just shot on camera. The cop, the lieutenant was just pepper sprayed on camera. I was slapped holding a camera in front of a damn police officer. You know what I mean? Everybody, Jacob Blake was shot. All of them were shot on camera. So cameras aren't going to do anything. We need to defund these police, and we need to train people different. We need to have something different because a lot of the people who were shot by police were shot from mental health call-outs, like people calling because they're dealing with a mental health issue, people who are homeless and all these things, people who are addicted to drugs. We need crisis workers instead of police officers to deal with these things, because if all you have is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. Police officers right now aren't trained to de-escalate. They're trained to escalate. You watch the video of me, the cop says, "Get the camera out of my face," and starts walking towards me. What is that? He wants me to touch him. The minute I touch him, escalate. Cops are trained to escalate the situation, not de-escalate. So we need crisis workers for people who are dealing with mental health. We need to defund the police and stop giving them all these damn weapons to where they can kill us, because right now, Joe Biden is accelerating the 1033 program, the program that allows police to get military surplus equipment. It's moving faster under Biden than it did under Trump. And remember, Biden gave us the crime bill. Biden and Clinton called us super predators. Those were the ones who did that. We also, when I said we need to defund the police, we need to put that money into mental health services, into education, into job programs, because just taking that money out and letting it sit in the coffers to go for tax breaks for corporations is not going to do anything. But taking that money out and using it in the communities that this criminal injustice system has so woefully hurt is going to start to make right the wrongs. It's not going to fix everything, because you can't do something for 400 years and think you're going to fix it overnight. But we can damn sure start now, because what we're doing is obviously not working.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking at and Tunde, I don't know if you have that B-roll of Brooklyn Center where they were quote unquote holding the line. We've been looking at that over and over again, and we've been comparing it to the response that the Capitol Police on January 6th, they were told not to use their most aggressive tactics. And then we look at what happened in Minneapolis or in Brooklyn Center last night, where the tanks were pulled out. Right. And this is all a part of the 1033 program. They're getting this weaponry from the federal government, and they're allowing these cops to come out and play soldier. And just talk a little bit more about how the difference, right? The difference in how this police state is brought down to bear against Black lives versus the way they absolutely did not bring it down to bear against those white supremacists on the terrorist attack of January 6th.
Well, I mean, that's why we say Black Lives Matter, because it's as clear as night and day. There is no gray area in this anymore. If you choose not to see the problem, you are choosing not to see the problem. I don't know how much more clear and evident this is. You had Capitol police officers. These are people who are protecting the seat of power in our nation, in the nation's capital. And they let white folks storm past them. You might have had the occasional Black person or indigenous person or Hispanic person who's been brainwashed who was running with them, but that don't mean anything. We've had those people for thousands of hundreds of years. We call them house niggas. They've been out there, so we know they're there. They're the Candace Owens, they're the Stacey Dashes, they're the Omarosa. So don't point to that Black person and be like, look, there's Black people who support Republicans. No, we've had those folks. We know who the hell they are. So let's strike that off the board right now. But it's as clear as day that we can see inside the nation's capital, they let the rebel flag storm through the halls of Congress. That's never happened. Not even during the Civil War. But when Black people take to the streets and say, listen, you sons of bees are going to stop killing us, killing our children, then they pull out military surplus equipment. And this is the same equipment that I use in Iraq and Afghanistan, the same exact vehicles. I could go over to those vehicles and start them up and drive them, no problem, because I've been trained on it. It's the same vehicle. Those vehicles have rolled down the streets of Baghdad. Now they're rolling down the streets of America. What is going on? There's a conscious effort, like I said. We're trying to tell you that Black Lives Matter, but you don't hear us. But what did Martin Luther King Jr. say? He said a riot is the language of the unheard. Martin Luther King Jr. said this in a peaceful way. What did Malcolm X say? Malcolm X said there's a bomb in the man's house. If you don't get that bomb out of the house, it's going to explode. And that bomb in the man's house is racism in America. If you do not get it out, it will explode into something very, very ugly. It's already done it, but it's so, everybody's so, caught up in their own lives that you don't really think about it because it's disparate. Oh, another brother got shot over here. Another sister got shot over here. Another sister got shot over here. But we take it in totality, you're like, damn, people are getting shot by police officers left and right. And I say black people because we're shot at a higher clip, but white folks are getting shot. Hispanic folks are getting shot. Look what happened to the folks at Standing Rock. They say, hey, listen, we don't want you to pollute our water. They brought in the whole damn army for them. Yet you literally had insurgents and terrorists storm the Capitol. They're like, go ahead, walk right on in. Walk right on and take pictures with them. Yeah, MAGA this and MAGA that. Took pictures with them. I mean, come on. Like I said, if you're burying your head in the sand right now, this is willful ignorance. You have to work to be ignorant in 2021. The whole entire human history is right here on my phone. I can pull up anything I want to learn about something. If you are ignorant right now of the situation, it's a full-time job to be that.
It's a full-time job to be ignorant. Hey, man, a lot of people in the comment section want to know how they can support your campaign and everything that you're doing. So go ahead and give us how they can reach you and how they can support your campaign.
Again, thank you all for having me on. I know there's always technical difficulties when I come on. I think it's the man. He don't want me on. You gotta be something. Damn it, I know.
Can you see us now?
No, I've been looking at myself the whole time. Listen, all I do, my wife's a first grade teacher, actually in the bedroom on the laptop teaching her first grade class, and I'm out here in the living room.
While you going off.
Yeah, that's why you see her stuff behind me because I'm in her virtual classroom. So folks can go to Isiah for Congress, ISIAH for Congress.com. They can find me on there. That's the campaign website. They can, the same name on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, Isiah for Congress. They can, help support with $5, $10, because every dollar matters. Every dollar is a door hanger that I can put on somebody's door to help spread the message. And if you broke like me, then just follow and retweet, share a tweet. I talk all the damn time. I'm sure I said something you agree with. You know what I mean? So just share.
Shit, said a whole lot.
You were preaching today, honey.
Right.
You was in the house
I
today.
was.
And you gave us a little Jamaican accent because you was getting a little heated. So it was getting Caribbean in there.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I mean, that's how
he
I
said,
am.
how you a police officer?
All the Jamaicans out there, I told my wife last night when we were laying in bed, I was like, man, I want some cow foot. She's like, what? And my wife's Puerto Rican. Cow foot. I was like, yeah, I want some cow foot. We're going to go to a Jamaican restaurant. I'm going to get some cow foot. People are like, ew, cow foot. Listen, let me tell you something right now. All right? We change your life. Black folks are known for making diamonds out of coal. What do you think chitlins are? What do you think cow foot is? We know how to do it. All right?
I've ate cow foot from the Jamaicans before. I have. I too have.
Nah, I can't say that I've never had cow foot.
Yeah, I've never had pink
swag. Well, I'm Caribbean, so it was something. It was something I tried.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
But you gotta understand, like I've had chitlins, but I would never eat them again. So
you won't eat
never.
You won't eat cow
but you'll
foot,
eat chitlins.
You'll eat
no, I said I would never eat chitlins again. Never. Like I had one in my mouth, and I'm like, and I realized it just my brain told me what it was, and I was like, nah, I can't mess with it. But I'll give cow foot a try though.
But think about something. You see how gross you thought it tasted? That food sustained us for hundreds of years. So if black people, people don't understand. A lot of black people don't understand that we come from the most powerful stock. If we can survive what we survived for 400 years in this country, do you understand how strong we are as a people? You know what I mean? How could I ever give up with today's situation, knowing that my ancestors are Jamaican? Jamaica was a hellish slavery plantation, and my people came out of that. If my people can come out of that, we damn sure can come out of this. Because we didn't come this far to only come this far.
Right. Yeah, I know. So I know if you ate cow foot, I know y'all have eaten plenty of pig feet, right? Pig feet,
yeah, I have.
Like I'm like that's a standard. That's
normality.
Somebody in the comment section was asking about pig feet. I'm like, everybody ate pig feet on a regular.
Oxtail, curry goat.
Oxtail,
pig
ears.
Pig
Curry
ears.
goat, yeah.
Goat is a staple.
Yeah. Yeah, now y'all making me hungry, man. I'm trying to fast.
Right.
I'm trying to do this here fast. Listen, Isiah James, hey man, best of luck and all the efforts that you're putting into that 9th congressional district there in New York. We really appreciate the fight that you're in and that you're sustaining that fight. We really appreciate that. And thanks for coming on this morning.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
The pleasure is ours. All right, folks. After the party is the after party. And if you are a patron, at patreon.com/like it or not, or if you're a patron of the Benjamin Dixon Show, or if you are a subscriber on Twitch, you can get access to the after party. We have about at least a half hour of shenanigans coming up.
Get it, Becca.
There's no music playing, but I felt like
you
been
hear?
music has been.
But look, the funny part about it is the music was playing underneath, like kept it low, but
and she was
like,
on beat.
Like, wait a minute, I thought you heard it.
Rebecca always on beat.
Okay, Becca
folks,
always on
seriously,
beat.
Before we go, I want everyone to go follow Isiah for Congress on Twitter. Follow him, support him. If you can donate some money, donate some money. We need to get as many people up there who have our values, who are fighting on behalf. And shout out to the seat that Alcee Hastings used to hold. We're going to make sure that that is filled with the progressive as well. All these special elections around the country, let's do our part to make sure that we fill them with as many progressives as possible. And Isaiah James, as you can see, that brother is ready to go. So let's send him to Congress.
They're asking if it's the number 4 for Isaiah
It is
for
the
Congress.
number 4. It's Isaiah for Congress. And as a matter of fact, I will just drop the link right here. Let me go to his timeline before we go. Drop the link. I want everybody to go follow him on Twitter, at least on Twitter. And David, do me a favor and drop it on Facebook and Twitch as well. And we'll go from there. All right, folks. Rebecca, you want to say anything? James, y'all want to say anything before we go to after party? I want to just go.
Just definitely meet us in the after party. Love you guys. Mean it. Have a beautiful Thursday. For those of you who can't come here, it might be outside of the club, but that's all right. You was with
we
us
love
today.
you anyway.
We'll see you tomorrow morning. Love you guys. Mean
See you in
it.
the morning.
Hey.